What's going on, guys? It's Patrick here. Welcome back to the channel, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be ranking every single legendary item in Fortnite, from worst all the way up to best. Now, we've looked at cosmetic items, weapons, locations to land, but I thought it'd be interesting if we did a little bit more of a specific video today and just looked at one tier, obviously the most interesting tier, which are legendary items. There are 9 legendary weapons in Fortnite, and while they're all fairly good, there are definitely some that just vastly outshine others. Now, before we do get into it, guys, I just want to quickly mention that, as always, we are running a giveaway for $25 worth of V-Bucks. So if you want to be entered in to win that, all you got to do is make sure you're subscribed to the channel and comment down below what your least favorite legendary item is in Fortnite. If you win, I'll reply to your comment in the comment section, so make sure to check that. And yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. So coming in at our number 9 spot, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the minigun. So yeah, I feel bad about saying this, but I think the minigun is objectively the worst legendary weapon in Fortnite. I've talked a little bit about this in the past as to why I don't like the minigun, but my biggest reason with it is I feel like it's pretty useless in solos. It's about halfway useless in duos, and the only time that it is truly effective is in squads. And to go even further on this notion, the only time that it's actually effective in squads is when you're going up against a big base. More importantly, going up against a team that is really just building down on top of your shots. Now, in that given situation, the legendary minigun is actually amazing. Given the fact that you're in a 4v4 squads, you have enough ammo with it, and they are building like mad, this is an absolutely just amazing distraction weapon. If not tearing down their base, it at least allows you to distract the enemies by continual building while the other 3 of your teammates move up, flank, and kill the people. If it's not even taking down a base, at the very least, it can act as a distraction for the people in that base to continually build. You let your other 3 teammates move up and take those people out. But my problem with it is it's just not very practical. Like, in my opinion, a legendary minigun is the weapon equivalent to getting a bush. As far as legendary items go, the bush is really disappointing, and 9 or 8 times out of 10, I'm gonna feel that way about the minigun. In the right situation, it is absolutely amazing. There's just not a lot of right situations for it. Number 8, the SemiAuto Sniper. Now, since we are doing a video on legendary weapons, there's nothing that's really bad on this list, in my opinion. Keep that in mind. It's more just less good. In my personal opinion, the bolt action has always been so much better than the semi-auto, but overall, I can't really hate on this thing. I think I've given it a lot more hate in the past than I would now because I've kind of learned to use it better. In the past, I probably would have said, like, why would you even think about using this thing when you could use a bolt? But at the end of the day, if it's there, it's worth taking. If you're a decent player, you can land at least 1 shot with this thing and then just finish them off with an AR. And I don't know, that seems like a pretty good deal for me. It's not something I would regularly use, but overall, I think it's pretty good. Also, as a side note, I could not tell you, besides the gameplay for this video, the last time I actually saw one of these things. It's really weird, I've said it before, but I swear this thing is one of the rarest items in Fortnite. Maybe that's just because no one uses it. Anyways, moving on, ladies and gentlemen, we have the silenced pistol. Now, the silenced pistol is a very versatile weapon. It's really good close range, really good medium range, and you can even use it long range. To an extent anyways, okay? We're not all ninja out here. But I think my biggest issue with the silenced pistol is that it never outshines anything in that category. Up close, I think it's safe to say that you would much rather have a shotgun than a silenced pistol. The DPS on the silenced pistol is absolutely insane, and in some cases when you land all your shots, it is absolutely fatal. But I think at the end of the day, any shotgun is really going to outshine it. At medium range, it works well, but again, just not as well as something like an AR, and especially not a SCAR. So although it's not that bad, I just feel like it doesn't really have a place in your weapon slot. Anyways, though, moving on from here, we've got a fairly new weapon, and this is the deagle. Now, it's really funny because I've seen a growing trend in the Fortnite community where they will drop a new thing into the game, a new weapon, and for the first 2 days, everyone goes, oh my god, so OP, new meta, the game is broken. And then like 3 days later, people were like, yeah, this thing's not that good. And that's kind of how I feel about the deagle. As a long-range weapon, I prefer the deagle over the semi-auto. It does roughly the same amount of damage, and I just feel like I have a better chance of making it with this thing than I would a semi-auto. And on top of that, the deagle is actually pretty good close range as well. And then you have double deagling. Now, if you are a good player, like a really top level, accurate player, playing that PC, keyboard and mouse, you can absolutely devastate with two of these things. Not one, but you need two. That's really hard to find. On top of that, you need a lot of skill. This is not your standard double pumping technique. My Nan could double pump. It takes a true warrior to double deagle. But all that being said, I still feel like it's not the greatest of legendary weapons. You need two of them. I mean, they're pretty rare. They're not as good as everything else I'm about to say. So coming in at our number 5 spot on this list, ladies and gentlemen, we have the good old bolt action. You know, what's a good old bolt action these days in 2018? I feel like this thing is getting a lot less use. I mean, the bolt action is around. I very rarely do I see a gold bolt action lying around anywhere. But I mean, honestly, this thing is forever going to be a very solid weapon. That being said, I'm actually ranking it a lot lower than I would have used to. The thing with Fortnite is the game is constantly changing, and I feel like now in March of 2018, the bolt action is a lot worse than it used to be. Statistically, it is no worse, and if anything, maybe better. But just the way people play Fortnite now, I feel like sniping is a lot harder. That being said, if you are a really good sniper like an Avery, a Dakotas, I mean, you're just gonna win with this thing. The thing with the bolt action is it takes a pretty high caliber player to use, and depending on how you want to rank these things, I feel like that puts it down a little bit. My first video, I said it was the best weapon in the game based on that notion of giving it to the best player. Then I kind of said it was like third-ish, and now I'm actually, putting it in at 5th. He is such a hypocrite. Listen, gameplay changes, opinions change. It's a free world. Get over it. Anyways, moving down to our number 4 spot, a bit of a surprising pick here. I'm actually choosing this as the grenade launcher. The grenade launcher is either really good and effective or really bad. 9 times out of 10, if I'm using a grenade launcher, it is to blow up bases. But the thing with the grenade launcher is it can be used as much more than just blowing up bases. I mean, you can use this thing to just hail grenades at another team, and a lot of the time, you'll get a surprising amount of kills. I even find in some situations the grenade launcher can be more OP than the RPG. Because if you think about it, you just send 6 grenades out into the team. I mean, that has the potential to do more than 600 damage. Now, it doesn't have a crazy amount of range, it's much less accurate, but in some cases, I feel like the grenade launcher can actually be better than the RPG. And while not always, as the months have gone on, I've really grown to appreciate this thing. I try to make these videos as objective as I can, but obviously it's impossible to make a completely unbiased video. But anyways, I feel like this thing is just solid. Now, coming in at our number 3 spot, ladies and gentlemen, this is actually a bit of an interesting pick because it is the newest weapon on this list. It is the heavy shotgun. Now, this is what's really interesting about the heavy shotgun. So it's a legendary weapon. It's placing below the RPG and the Scar. Who knows where those two are gonna rank though? Or maybe there's a third legendary weapon I also haven't mentioned. Anyways, the heavy shotgun ranks high because it's a shotgun. Despite being a purple and gold weapon, I feel like this thing is objectively no better than the pump. If you can headshot people with this thing, you're laughing. If you're doing 7 damage a shot with any shotgun, you're not laughing. But the thing I find with the shotguns is that despite all of them, every single shotgun in the game, even a green tack, despite them all being really good, I don't see one being necessarily better than the other. The purple tack to the green pump to this thing, I feel like it is more dependent on your playstyle. That being said, this thing has really nice range, you can double pump it, and it feeds some damage. There was a clip of Ninja just absolutely wrecking someone, and after they saw this double pumping clip, people freaked out. It's not as overpowered as people make it seem, but it's still a shotgun in Fortnite, and I mean, shotguns are the new... Actually, I don't know where I was going with that. Shotguns are just really good in Fortnite. Ladies and gentlemen, coming in at number 2, we have the RPG. This is a tough pick. The RPG or the Scar, which one is better? So I guess I'll answer our number 1 spot on this list. The highest ranked legendary weapon has got to be the Scar. Why is the Scar better than the RPG? Well, I think the RPG can be very overpowered if you play it right. But that being said, there's a lot of the time where you're in situations that an RPG just doesn't really cut it. People have gotten so good at building now that RPGs are not the scary thing they used to be anymore, and because of that, I feel like they're less effective. They still do over 100 damage with quite a lot of splash, and they can still absolutely devastate you, but I genuinely believe that the Scar has to be better. Say someone has 100 health, you can kill them faster with a Scar than an RPG. It might be easier to do so, but I don't think using a Scar is the hardest thing in the world. Like, it's not as difficult as using a bolt action. I mean, the Scar has always just kind of been the iconic weapon of Fortnite in my opinion, and I don't think there's any sound argument that the RPG could be better. I don't think the shotgun could be better than the Scar. I don't think the grenade launcher. I don't even really think the bolt action is better than the Scar. I think without a doubt, if you asked 1,000 Fortnite players what the best gun of Fortnite is, they would almost unanimously say Gold Scar. And probably the only thing that would even come close to that in answers would be the Gold RPG. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is our list. We went Minigun, SemiAuto Sniper, Silenced Pistol, Deagle, Bolt Action, Grenade Launcher. Number 3 was Shotgun, then RPG, and number 1 was that Golden Scar. But wait! There's more!
We interrupt this program to bring you
Patrick from the future. So this video is supposed to go up a little bit earlier, and then they released the new rocket launcher. So you might be wondering, hey, where does that fit into the list? And actually, it's not making it on the list. I thought about redoing this video, and I honestly, I feel like it's too early to give a fair and objective pick for the new rocket launcher, the guided one. 1, I've had very little playtime with it. 2, I've been kind of wondering if Epic's gonna do something to it. So as of now, I think it's just as good as the normal RPG, maybe better. I would still probably put the Gold Scar above it, but yeah, it didn't make the list. So there's Patrick from the future to answer all your questions. Never done a recap before, but that felt good just to remind you of what we just went over. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching the video. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. If you haven't yet, comment down below what your least favorite legendary weapon is. That will enter you in to a nice giveaway for some V-Bucks, and I'll contact you. I'll reply to your comment. Okay, for the love of God, answer or check your notifications, because there's so many people that just don't claim it, and I can't give it away if you don't claim it. Okay, so if you win, claim it. It's free money, okay? It's 2018. V-Bucks are better than Bitcoin, Ethereum, and arguably half of the world's real fiat currency. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching the video. I'll talk to you later. Peace out, you frickin', my hair's getting wild, nerds.